Well, hello everyone and welcome. My name is Liam Freeman. I'm the Associate Director of the Creative Industries Programs in the College of Vocational Education here at RMIT University. For today's presentations, I'm joined by some of my wonderful colleagues across the creative industries area, including John Phillips, Ron Frim, Andrew Harrison, Astrid Edwards and Alan Woodruff. Everyone will be introducing themselves to you throughout this presentation. And today we're going to speak to you about some of our program areas that include sound and live production, screen and media, digital media technologies including games, animation and visual effects, professional writing and editing and screenwriting. All of these programs are certainly well renowned and allow students to work and learn across a variety of disciplines, replicating real-world experience and developing the deep discipline skills needed in order to launch their careers. But before we get started, on behalf of RMIT University, I would like to acknowledge the people of the Woiwurrung and Boonwurrung language groups of the Eastern Kulin Nations, on whose unceded lands we conduct the business of the university. RMIT University respectfully acknowledges their ancestors and elders past and present. RMIT also acknowledges the traditional custodians and their ancestors of the lands and waters across Australia where we conduct our business. RMIT is committed to redefining its relationship in working with and supporting Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander self-determination. The university's goal is to achieve lasting transformation by maturing its values, culture, policy and structures in a way that embeds reconciliation in everything that we do. In line with the principles of Bunjil, we are changing our ways of working, knowing and being to support sustainable reconciliation and activate a relationship between Indigenous and non-Indigenous staff, students and the community. So thanks again and for joining us and for listening in so far. Before I hand over firstly to John Phillips, a reminder that you are able to post questions into the chat function of the session, which will be responded to via text. There also may be some time for our presenters to respond to some of your questions towards the end of the session. So I might hand over now to John Phillips to start with our program presentation. Thanks, John. Over to you.
Thanks very much, Liam. My name is John Phillips. I'm Acting Program Manager and Coordinator of Live Production and Technical Services and the Music Industry Sound Production Programs. So I'm going to talk about each one of these two programs, quickly one after the other, just to give a bit of background. Now, firstly, looking at the Diploma of Live Production and Technical Services. I'll look through this. This program looks at training skills for the entertainment and event production industries. A lot of event focus in this, where you're going to be covering things like, as you can see, lighting, vision, sound, have skills around technical support and AV engagement in the industry. So a lot of graduates will end up moving into areas such as concert production, theatre production, event production, television, radio, other areas of broadcast. These sort of lighting and sound skills are basically feeding the events and entertainment industries, but looking at the production roles behind those industries. So just looking through the rest of this here, skills attained, developing line production, serve employers and across many industries. And we get a lot of feedback, a lot of interaction with people from various industries, as we'll look through in a minute. If I can go on to the next slide. And there is one of our students working in that slide. We're doing production at the Corner Hotel. We're making a live music TV program in that instance, the Corner Hotel in Richmond. And all the lighting, all of the sound production, the technical setup, and indeed that student under the headphone with comms on running the camera there is one of the live production students making the production. If I can go on to the next slide. Here, this is good. when looking at some of the industry partners that we work with. We meet with them a number of times a year and get feedback and advice on our training, our assessments, on our facilities and how relevant, because what we're basically about doing is preparing students for engagement in these industries. And you can look at some of the people here: ABC TV, ACME, Melbourne Convention Centre, Fremantle Media, Arts Centre Melbourne, SBS, Harry the Hirer. So there's a range of different options. For many students, you might start the program, and as you go through the program, you'll start to think, oh, lighting is more of my thing, or camera production, television broadcast, maybe sound production. You can work out your focus along the way, but I do know that a lot of these industries, the multi-skilled nature of the graduates in this program, are really going to help you in engagement in these industries. If I can go on to the next slide, please. Here's another one of our graduates working. This photo was actually taken, he was driving along, and it's outside of RMIT, and bumped into some of the staff, so they grabbed a snap from him as he's going between jobs, and you can see by the door of his van for Channel 10 in that instance. Another example of the sort of industries that our graduates get working into: broadcast, television production, AV installation, sports events, media production, theatre, festival engaging. So for people with a technical bent, looking like applying those sort of skills into the dynamic entertainment and events industries, it's a great avenue to do so. If I can go on to the next slide, please. So we're going to, now I'll just take a breath to try and distinguish between the two programs I'm covering. So just finishing off with with live production. As I said, that program is looking very much at event production, looking at a number of media-based skills. The Diploma of Music Industry is another option, and these two programs are quite related in various different ways, and I think it's well worth any applicant in either of these programs. If you're looking, for instance, at the music industry program, the music sound production program, I would suggest you also look at the live production program, just to offset and look at which of the two are really going to suit your needs. So, Diploma of Music Production. This, we have the name bracketed there, sound production, which is really important. What the focus of the program is really about. A lot of the training in this program is going to be around music production, recording, editing, working in the audio tools to do that. But essentially what we're really doing is covering all of the audio production skills you need in industry. So a lot of the graduates, again, will move into areas. We get a lot of people in broadcast, post-production, working for TV stations, doing film and television post-production, a lot of people working in venues and whatnot. So it's not necessarily music production, but the sort of training and production we do, if someone is going through the process of recording and mixing a band in our recording studios, we're mindful of the fact that that knowledge and skills will transfer directly to producing the sound for a reality show on television, or doing the sports for one of the TV networks, or what have you. So those sort of skills will transfer across. There you can see some of the industry partners we have for sound production. Bakehouse Recording Studios, we've got music and effects there on the left, Sound Firm, top, middle, Risk Sound, 99-100, Colour Sound, Eden Sound, recording studios, mastering studios, but also sound, television and film production studios. If I can go on to the next slide, thanks. Got there one of our students there in the foreground working on one of the productions we do. Again, we try to do a lot of projects where we're doing collaborations with students from other programs and collaborations with industry. In that particular slide, we're in a place called the Bakehouse Recording Studio, making a television production, music television production. On the left, you can see musicians in a band, and we have students from live production doing the filming and lighting, and they're a sound production student doing the recording and on-stage live sound, and downstairs in the mixing studio running at the same time. So we have a lot of industry partners involved in that project. We have people from the TV networks assisting, and there you can see some of the facilities we look at, which I will touch on. We have some excellent sound recording studios. We have brilliant NAS district television production studios for projects like Collide that really allow you to train for industry readiness, and we've seen a number of applicants for the program go. I know one story from a recent production of a project we do called Collide, where we had someone from ABC Television coming along to help out with one of the projects. They came and saw what we were doing and employed one of the students from the production on the spot to start the following week, because they were so impressed with what we're doing and felt that this sort of heavily technical production is very much about preparing students, preparing you for the industry we're moving into. If I can go on to the next slide. They're looking at the program summary for the Diploma of Live Music. So the Diploma of Music, Sound Production, you can also move on to the Advanced Diploma of Music, Sound Production. If I could go on to the next slide, thanks. Yep, talking about the industry connections again, and there again we have a image from the Bakehouse recording production. You can see a number of students from both live and music programs working on both the visual and audio production of a live television program there. If I could go on to the next one, please. Oh, it's Screen and Media is the next one. So I'll hand over to Ron in a minute. Though we can see there some of the television studio facilities we have that are used by all programs. So I will hand over now to Ron, who can talk about Screen and Media.
Awesome. Thank you so much, John. Some really great qualifications there in live production and music production. Hi everybody, good afternoon. My name's Ron Frim. I teach into the Certificate 4 in Screen and Media and the Certificate 4 in Live Production and Technical Services. But today I'm going to speak about our Cert 4 in Screen and Media. Can I have the next slide, please? So the Cert 4 is for anybody who wants to work in live television production, live streaming, camera and audio operation, graphics and editing, and any other technical crew role for the broadcast industries. The broadcast and live streaming industries require skilled graduates with strong technical and production skills. The Cert 4 in Screen and Media is where industry professionals look to fill that demand. It's a 1 year, it's very intense and it's very practical, and there's a lot of collaborations, and that will prepare you to enter the industry with the experience you need to succeed, or because it's quite a generalized qualification, it's a fantastic platform for the other qualifications, some that John has mentioned and some that you'll hear by the other very talented teachers in this session. So, if you're interested in television production, broadcasting, anything technical behind the scenes, if you're interested in live streaming, live news production, live sport, esports, directing, camera, audio, lighting, editing, all those roles, then the Cert 4 in Screen and Media would be a really appropriate and quite an enjoyable qualification for you to do. It's a fantastic entry. If you want to be a filmmaker, doing the Cert 4 in Screen and Media is a wonderful platform that you can begin and develop your skills and build a network. If you're interested in live events or theatre tech or AV support, music production that John mentioned, and even professional screenwriting that will be mentioned after my presentation, we have students who do the Cert 4, and if they're not ready for industry, then they go on to all of these other wonderful diplomas and advanced diplomas, and even the associate degrees and bachelors that RMIT offer, but the Cert 4 is a fantastic way to begin your learning experience and your pathway at RMIT. So what do we cover in the Cert 4? Well, we have a lot of fun, but we specifically do a lot of studio directing, live streaming, vMix operating, and all the things that are very important in the industry, and also important in lockdown, where we do a lot of remote teaching, remote production. We vision switch, we operate cameras in the studio, in the field. We mix audio in studio productions. We operate the lights and set up the lights, not only in the studio, but also in the field. We have a very talented editing teacher who's currently working at the ABC, who teaches editing, After Effects and color grading. So all of those very important post-production skills you will learn in the Cert 4 in screen and media. And in general, and this is with anybody, any course at RMIT, there are industry professionals teaching units so that our students are industry ready. So in terms of the program summary, it's a 1 year full time. It is very intense. It's very practical. There are no minimum academic requirements. You do have to complete and submit a selection task and attend an interview, which is either an online interview or a phone interview for quite obvious reasons at the moment. Next slide, please. So looking at the collaborations that we do at the moment, because working in the broadcast industry is very collaborative. You work with different people and you build a network for yourself, and it all starts at the Cert 4. So we do drama productions with our partners in RMIT of the Advanced Diploma of Professional Screenwriting, which you'll hear about very soon. And we do, was it 10 drama productions, maybe even more, in the studio, where our students direct, operate the cameras, all of the audio, all of the lighting, all of the set bumping in and out for the drama productions, which are written by the very talented professional screenwriting students. Then we move on to our news production, which is a live production that we live stream, as well as on our industry partner, Channel 31. And that's with our RMIT School of Media and Communication journalism students. So we do that twice a year, and it's a great live experience. Quite a few of our Cert 4 screen and media students have gone on to work in the news and sports industries from their experience working on Newsline. And very exciting, we have a new collaboration that's just started this year called Hungry Talks. So think about Gruen with Will Anderson and the advertising content, and that's what the advertising students of RMIT are doing in collaboration, not only with the Cert 4 screen and media students, but also the live production students. So it's a fantastic thing that's happening at the moment, and that's happening online. Next slide, please. So our industry partners are wide and varied. A lot of these partners we meet a few times a year so that we get direct industry input into our course, so that we are industry relevant and that we're industry current. We have students that have either done work placements or have got jobs in any of these companies. So we have a wide network. We're very proud of a recent graduate who's now a production coordinator at Fortress Melbourne with esports. We've had students work for Ticker in a vMix live streaming setting. And we've got a current paid student placement at the moment with the AFL ARC, which is a fantastic partnership that we have. But we've got other very strong relationships with ABC News, ABC TV and Channel 9 News, just to name a few. So it's a really well-connected industry course. And the next slide, please. So what career outcomes can you have straight from the Cert 4 in screen and media? Well, you can be a studio director, so specifically multi-camera studio directing, studio operator, so more in an automation environment, a live stream operator or vMix technical director, a real focus of our course and also the wider industry at the moment, an esports broadcast director or production coordinator, which I've mentioned, and the next slide for other career outcomes, production manager, video editors, or any of those post-production roles, camera operators, be in the studio or in the field, audio operator or assistant, production assistant, or MCR operator, which we have a recent graduate at the moment working for 5Stream in that virtual space. And the next slide, thank you. So that's all from me for the moment. Thanks so much for your attention. I'm just going to hand over to Andrew Harrison to speak about the Diploma of Screen and Media and the Advanced Diploma of Screen and Media.
Cheers, Ron. Thanks for that. Hi, everyone. My name's Andrew Harrison. I'm the Program Coordinator for the Diploma of Screen and Media, the Advanced Diploma of Screen and Media, and the Associate Degree in Screen and Media Production as well. Can we go one panel back, please? Thank you. So I just want to talk first about the Diploma of Screen and Media and the Advanced Diploma of Screen and Media, because the Advanced Diploma follows on from the Diploma, and just talk about a little bit about what these programs are. So if you're interested in filmmaking, doing location work, also doing documentary production, then these are the programs where you'll get trained to do that. So we have an emphasis on face-to-face hands-on training, and we actually prepare you to go off campus and do location work, as the bulk of what we actually do in the film industry is actually on location. So we're very much geared towards, in the diploma, building your content creation skills and bringing up your general media and film techniques and skills. And then the advanced diploma, we tend to get you to focus a bit more on your short film production and make you a bit more of an independent thinker with what you're putting together with that. Can we go to the next slide, please? So another program that I look after is the Associate Degree in Screen and Media Production. This one's a 2-year full-time program as opposed to the diploma and advanced diploma that are 1 year each. Question I often get asked is what's an advanced diploma and what's an associate degree, and how does that differentiate from a diploma and an advanced diploma? Well, an associate degree is a skills-based degree, so we still do a lot of hands-on training with it. We still have application of skill for assessment, but we also do some analysis of the broader media arts and entertainment industry in the associate degree program as well. So we're trying to get you to think a bit more about being, what's the sort of innovation that the media arts and entertainment industry needs, and what sort of content would we be needing to produce in the future for this industry. Can I go to the next slide, please? Okay, so entry into the diploma. Again, the diploma is a 1 year full time. Don't really have any minimum academic requirements to get in, but we do ask that all applicants complete a pre-selection kit. That consists of 4 questions, pretty straightforward questions to answer. Plus, it also has a storyboard exercise to complete as well. If required, we do interview applicants. That would either be face-to-face, or in the COVID-19 environment we're in at the moment, that would be online. Now, for the Advanced Diploma of Screen and Media, can I go back to that? Thank you. With the Advanced Diploma of Screen and Media, this program is also a 1 year program. It does actually follow on from the diploma. So although we don't have any real prerequisites for it, we are looking for people to complete the Diploma of Screen and Media first, or an equivalent. Can I go to the next slide, please? Now, for the Associate Degree in Screen and Media Production, this is actually a 2 year full-time program, but it also offers part-time study as well. So you can be studying up to 4 years if you wish. Now, it does have a VCE prerequisite around your English language score or the equivalent, and all applicants must have successfully completed an Australian Year 12 or equivalent. So if you're in VCE at the moment, do pop an application in this year. Just like the diploma, all applicants for the associate degree do need to complete a pre-selection kit. Again, that consists of a number of questions, and it also involves a storyboard activity. And again, if we do need to interview applicants, that would be via online at the moment. Can I go to the next slide, please? So where do our graduates end up? Well, a lot of our graduates end up doing production work involving the camera department or the location sound department, so working as a camera assistant, and eventually building up to being a focus puller and maybe even pushing on to being a cinematographer. A desired outcome that our graduates have is to become a director. However, not everyone wants to be a director in this industry. Other people are more than happy to be crew members. So we actually have special effects specialists, whether that's practical effects or digital effects, content producers, ADs, script writers. Graduates prefer to go off and work as a freelancer, potentially even setting up their own business. We also have a lot of graduates who go into post-production, so working as an editor's assistant, or working as an editor, or doing some form of data wrangling as well. Can I go to the next slide, please? Okay, so I'm just going to throw back to Ron really quickly, who's just going to talk a little bit about facilities here at RMIT.
Okay, thanks so much, Andrew. That's brilliant. I'm just going to speak briefly about the facilities for screen and media students. It's so important that whatever you study, that the facilities are really up to date and relevant to the screen and media and broadcast industries. At RMIT, we've got practically brand new 4 broadcast studios for television and live streaming. Our studio techs have just updated the live streaming facilities in it as well. They're in HD and 4K, which is really important that when you're a student and you're using the equipment and the facilities, that our industry partners are using the same. So that's why RMIT has invested so heavily in EVS playout, because that is the same equipment that you would use if you're working at the AFL or the NRL or instant replays for the soccer or any sort of live sports, even the Olympics. They use EVS. So we are teaching those sort of skills which directly will apply to the screen and media industries. It's the same with the studio cameras, same with the audio mixers and studio graphics. It's really important that we've got more than one studio. I have so many students who need to practice their graphics or their vision mixing or their audio skills. So we've got studios that have been used for teaching, and then the other studios the students can go in and practice. Okay, so these sort of facilities and this sort of equipment is in all those studios, which is really important, and it gives you the ability and access to this high-end equipment. I'm very excited about the next slide because this is where the broadcast industry is heading, and RMIT is ahead of the curve with live streaming and remote production. So we've got Australia's largest live streaming teaching facility. It's 20 vMix high-end computers, all connected together and all able to be remotely accessed by students. So during lockdown, at the moment, we have not stopped. We haven't dropped a class. TV production from the studios has continued in the virtual space, and there's a whole new range of skills that you learn because of that. So based on our experience in the last year and a half, we've embedded our live streaming screen and media teaching, learning and assessment within our curriculum. Okay, so we have students working in virtual rooms, communicating. They could be anywhere in Australia or generally around the state, and putting a live stream broadcast to air. So it's really exciting, and we've got a really powerful system that really is a first in Australia in terms of teaching. If we go to the next slide, thanks. It's about our post-production. So every student that is enrolled has access to Adobe Creative Cloud at home. So you've got access to Adobe Premiere, After Effects, Media Encoder, and all the other Adobe Suite products. So you can learn in your own time at home and have access to this very powerful and, might I say, quite expensive software as part of your enrolment. And RMIT, when we are on campus, there are many PC and Mac computer labs where you can access this software and other designing software as well. I think that's all from me. What is the next slide? I think I'm going to throw back to Andrew. So thanks so much for your attention, everybody, and all the best with your learning journey.
Okay, thanks, Ron. And what I'm going to be talking about now are digital media technologies, which is another suite within screen and media at RMIT. And the digital media technologies is mainly looking at people who are more interested in 2D animation, 3D animation, modeling, web development, and so forth. Can I have the next slide, please? Great, thanks. So there are two programs associated here: the Diploma of Digital Media Technologies and the Advanced Diploma of Screen and Media, which is interactive. So again, you come in on the at the diploma level, and then progress through to the advanced diploma. And again, the emphasis here is on developing your skills to make you as work ready as possible for employment or further study. So with the diploma, you'll build on your conceptual and general media skills, and then in the advanced diploma, you'll move more into working independently, with self-directed projects, with the intention of building more folio work. We go to the next slide, please. So for the program summary for application into the diploma, it's a 1-year program. There aren't any minimum academic requirements. However, please do note that this program is actually very popular, and entry to the program is competitive. So you are ranked and selected in order of merit, and that could be based on such things as your ATAR or other forms of academic achievement. After the diploma is the advanced diploma, which again is 1 year of full-time study. Again, there's no minimum academic requirement. But again, to do the advanced diploma, you'd be looking at completing the diploma first, or a similar program in order to progress up into the advanced diploma. Can I go to the next slide, please? So connections, one of the reasons why you do want to be studying is to build up as much networking as possible, and being able to build up your micro-credentialing networking skills. As well as interacting with guest presenters, other media specialists, and importantly, linking up with the RMIT alumni. This is particularly with the students who are, well, the former students who are now working off in industry. At RMIT, we have a number of creative clubs and collectives that you can also be part of. And again, this is about strengthening your networks within industry, and then connecting with these networks through your peers and also through your teachers. And some of the organisations you can connect with are the Australian and New Zealand Screen Association. There's also a mentoring program where you can be matched up with industry professionals. And there's also student associations you can be part of, such as RMIT's Blue Light Collective. Can I go to the next slide, please? Terrific. I'll just play the little video that's going on here at the moment. So what are the career outcomes you can get from this program? Well, again, as I said at the start, 2D animation artists, 3D modeling, front-end web developers, developing mobile apps and app development, visual effects. So a lot of digital visual effects and post-production, UX and UI designing. So a lot of user interface designing as well as part of the program, as part of the outcome from the program. Okay, that's it from me. I'm now going to hand you over to Astrid, who's going to be following up next.
Hello, everyone. My name is Astrid Edwards. I am the Program Coordinator of the Associate Degree of Professional Writing and Editing. Today, I'm going to be talking to you about some of the programs that we have in professional writing and editing and screenwriting at RMIT. We are a really industry-focused suite of programs, and everybody who works in these programs are very connected to industry. So in this photo that you can see here, that's actually the well-known comedian Tim Ferguson. He is affiliated with our programs and he does come in to teach. We have an amazing range of guest lecturers throughout all of these programs. Could I have the next slide, please? I'm going to talk to you about the first two, and the first one is the Certificate 4 of Professional Writing and Editing. This is a new offering from RMIT. We began it actually this year. Even during lockdown, we began a new program this year and it is going very well. It's a nationally recognized qualification looking at your writing and editing skills in the English language. The goal of the Certificate 4 is to make you industry ready across a range of different writing, storytelling and reporting styles. We cross platforms, so if you want to write for social media, or if you want to get a job with a large corporation, writing annual reports, if you want to be a freelance editor, helping other people improve their words, all of these are potential outcomes from studying the Certificate 4. As I said before, all of our teachers are highly industry connected, and not only do they teach, but they also have their own practice and operate in the industry. I'll use myself as an example. I teach creating digital content and inside the industry, two of our courses, but I'm the chair of the Melbourne Writers Festival. So our programs are very much linked in with the writing and literary community of Melbourne, and of course the writing and literary community of Australia. The Cert 4, as I said, is a one-year program and it's new. It's designed to link with the associate degree of professional writing and editing. Could I just have the next slide, please? So the associate degree of professional writing and editing is a 2-year program if you are full-time. We actually encourage part-time students, and the reason for that is you can't put a time limit on reading and writing. Reading and writing take the time they take. So we very much encourage part-time students, but also welcome full-time students as well. Whatever type of storytelling, whether it's fiction or non-fiction that you might be interested in, the associate degree is probably the place for you. It is, we have students who want to write a novel or a series of novels. We have students who want to write a memoir or an autobiography. We have students who want to engage in long form kind of public opinion writing. We have students who want to write for the corporate world. We have students who want to be editors, who don't want to write at all, but want to help other people with their words and go in-house at one of the large publishing houses, or start their own business and be an editing freelancer. All of that absolutely works. We also have started building in website creation and writing for social media and podcast production, because stories go across platforms. It's no longer paper and pen. It's no longer even a keyboard and the internet. Stories go across all different platforms, and in the second year of the associate degree, we let you explore all of them. We also have poetry and performance. We have writing for children, writing for young adults. You can specialize in writing nonfiction. Basically, the associate degree is a program that helps you write what you want to write. So this is different from bachelor's degrees. It's different from the Bachelor of Arts Creative Writing at RMIT. We will teach you how to write. Bachelor's degrees often get you to write about other people's writing, and that is certainly not our focus. We want you to write, and we want you to, many of our students actually start publishing their work before they've even graduated from the associate degree, and that is our goal. Could I have the next slide, please? So as I said before, the Cert 4 is 1 year, and it can be done over 2 years. There are no minimum academic requirements to enter the program. However, we do require you to submit a sample of your writing online. It's not particularly much at all. The associate degree does have a Year 12 prerequisite, and we also require not only a sample of your writing, short, it's 1,000 words, but also to come and do an interview with us. In this day and age, the interviews are online. But like some of the other programs that you've heard about today, this is a very popular program and entry is competitive based on your interview and based on not your actual score in Year 12, but based on the selection task and the writing that you submit. Next slide, please. So as I mentioned briefly before, we are really connected with the literary industry, the writing, editing and publishing industry in Melbourne and in Australia. This is the famous dome inside the State Library of Victoria. We have very good connections with the State Library of Victoria, which also houses Writers Victoria, the Melbourne Writers Festival, the Wheeler Centre, Poetry Australia, and so many others. Melbourne is actually a UNESCO World City of Literature, and we are connected into the UNESCO network. And, you know, the dome here that you can see, it's less than 5 minutes walk from our campus when we are there online, when we are there in real life, as opposed to online, I should say. So if you come and study with us in terms of writing, editing, whether it's the Cert 4 or the associate degree, you can work on your fiction or non-fiction skills, editing, professional writing, how you write for social media, and also new forms of, not new forms, but new storytelling forms, including podcasting and oral storytelling. And can we go to the last slide, please? But what I guess I really want to emphasize is our students actually get published while they are still studying with us and do really, really well. So here we have an image of the front cover of Rosalie Ham's book. This was a novel that was then turned into a Hollywood movie starring Kate Winslet. This year, we've had several current students publish books. Kate Mildenhall has published her 3rd novel. It's highly commercially successful. It's called The Mother Fault. And Fiona Murphy has published her first memoir, The Shape of Sound. Not only has Fiona published her memoir, if you look at the Saturday paper this weekend, Fiona Murphy has a piece in the Saturday paper exploring her memoir and her life experiences. So we teach you how to get yourself published where you choose to be published. I would also say that one of our other students, Tim Loveday, is currently one of the 10 national recipients for a very prestigious prize at the fellowship at the Wheeler Centre, the Next Chapter Fellowship. So we help you find your place in the industry, whether you want to be an editor or a writer or a storyteller, you know, in terms of any platform, whether it's podcasting or in print or in the newspaper, online, wherever you want to tell your stories. That's it from me, but within the area that I work in, I'd like to hand you over to my colleague, Alan, who's going to talk about screenwriting. Alan, I believe it is your turn.
Okay, thanks, Astrid. G'day everyone, I'm Alan Woodruff and I'm the program coordinator of our screenwriting program. To give it a full title, it's the Advanced Diploma of Professional Screenwriting. It covers writing for screens of all sizes, from feature films to TV shows to streaming shows, even stories designed for distribution on mobile phones and the internet. We've got 2 main goals, excuse me. We want our students first to explore the full extent of their own screenwriting potential, to explore their own ideas, their own passions. We want them to leave us with a portfolio of work that's as diverse as they want it to be. It might, for instance, include feature films, TV drama, children's TV, comedy, and games. But crucially, we also train our students with the craft skills that will give them work in the industry, working for other people while they develop their own projects. So that as they write their own projects in their own times while they develop them, they can also work for other people as script assessors, story editors. They can work in plotting and so on. It's these skills that many of our graduates use to support themselves while they pursue their own writing projects. So, as I say, they might be developing their own scripts in their spare time. At the same time, they're working for, say, a production company, a producer, a film funding body such as Film Victoria, using their craft skills to generate an income. We have courses that are centered around the business of building a career as a screenwriter, so that we have career screenwriters come in, talk to our students about how they got started, how they keep the work coming in, how they build and maintain their supportive networks, and so on. In the second year of our program, there's an industry placement program where we support our students finding opportunities to work in the industry in a way that supports their own ambitions. It could be a placement with a writer, or perhaps a producer, or a production company. It's really up to each individual student, and the options are limited only by the extent of their imagination and their ambition. Our teachers, most of our teachers are from the industry. They're working screenwriters, and between them they deliver across a strong cross-section of the industry. We have feature writers, TV writers, writers of children's TV, and it's our teachers that we believe are the secret of our success. They're working in the industry. They've got their fingers on the pulse of what's happening right now. They know what's current, and it's this currency that keeps the course fresh and up to date. Our screenwriting program has strong connections to the industry, and one of the ways we do that is through our industry committee. It's a committee that consists of writers, producers, funding body representatives, and they keep us abreast of what's happening in the industry. Being up to date means that we can adjust our course to the requirements of the industry, and occasionally the industry committee suggests to us a need that we might fill, so that we can adjust our teaching so that our graduates are as industry ready as possible. Next slide, thanks. So the program is an advanced diploma of professional screenwriting. It's 2 years full time. It's also available as part-time. There are no minimum academic requirements. However, you must submit a selection task, which involves submitting a piece of creative writing. Next slide, thank you. So our graduates work across all areas of the industry, both locally and around the world. And here are some of the programs, some of the work that our students have done. Next slide, thank you. One of our many successes is graduate Sarah Dollard. After she graduated from the program, she went to work on Neighbours, but then headed across to England, where she started writing for TV and has worked on Doctor Who as well as in other areas in England. Locally, our industry is quite small, but it's resilient, it's vital. It allows us to tell our own stories and to hear our own voices. So if you think you've got what it takes to be a screenwriter, we can help you get there. Thank you very much. Over to you, Liam.
Thanks so much, Alan, and thanks to all the presenters. So John Phillips, Ron Frim, Andrew Harrison, Astrid Edwards, and again, Alan, for finishing up there with the information about the Professional Screenwriting Advanced Diploma. So very rich, diverse collection of qualifications in this area, as you can see. And I think we do have some time for some responses to some of the Q&A questions. And while we're considering some of those questions, so if I can encourage the presenters to look into the chat, and we might pick out a couple to respond to. I think one thing worth noting for everyone who's listening in is not only the way the programs, the value of the programs as they stand alone in their particular focus and discipline area, but you can see the richness and diversity here is very advantageous for collaboration and working cross-discipline, and the environment the students step into is all the richer for that. I think Ron mentioned earlier about the collaboration with screenwriting, so where there are scripts developed for a series of webisodes, which are then produced out in the wonderful environment of screen media production environments. So I think we have one question here where we touched on this a little bit. So the question here is about notable alumni in the writing area. So I'm not sure, Astrid, if you'd like to respond to that, because I know we have quite a number of students, notable graduates, and maybe once we've got some thoughts from Astrid, there might be others that people might want to jump in and call out. So thanks, Astrid. Any thoughts there?
Absolutely, we have many. So firstly, I'll just start with, I guess, the famous story, I guess, is Graham Simsian, who wrote the Rosie Project. He ended up writing a trilogy of works, and his first work was actually made it to Barack Obama's reading list and one of his top 10 reading lists. That was about 5 or 6 years ago now, and he's currently writing another trilogy. The most prestigious literary prize in Australia is the Miles Franklin Literary Award, and we've had several graduates longlisted and shortlisted for that award, including Sophie Laguna and Peggy Frew. We also have really successful crime writers, including Mark Brandy, who has just published his 3rd novel. We also, so that's the kind of public writing face, but we also have a number of really prominent editors. So, books don't make it to long lists or short lists, or things don't get published online in newspapers without really great editors working behind the scenes. And we have editors who have been, working in-house or working at the Saturday paper, etc., helping other people get their words out there. I think they're the highlights so far. We also have a website just for the Associate Degree of Professional Writing and Editing. If you're looking for alumni, I would, or interested in the program, I would recommend looking up RMIT Professional Writing and Editing.com, and that is where we publish student work, but we also have our alumni up there to show what they're doing at the moment, as well as all of our industry-based teachers.
Thanks, Astrid. That's great. Yes, when I first started working at RMIT, it was very clear that there was a huge number of successful stories of graduates moving out and making names for themselves in industry, not only in screen professional writing and editing, but in a number of other areas. Look, just looking at a couple of other questions, there is a question here about the pathways through to higher education, and I would say that there are many options for pathways, both from vocational education qualifications to other vocational quals, but also through to undergraduate degree programs, if that's the direction students would like to head. So I'm not sure, Andrew Harrison, I might throw to you if you could talk through some of the pathway opportunities for students in relation to that.
Thanks, Liam. Yeah, some of the pathways available, particularly from my area in screen and media, we have an articulation into the Bachelor of Communication Media. It means actually having to complete the advanced diploma or complete the associate degree to take the advantage of that articulation. Our students actually end up going into second semester, second year of that program as it currently stands. So you don't do the first 3 semesters. You go in and do the last 3 semesters. We also have an articulation with Bachelor of Art in Fine Art, and again, it's available for those who have actually completed the advanced diploma and the associate degree. in general, with articulations, you do need to complete the highest qualification at the TAFE sector first. So you would need to complete the advanced diploma before you can take part in the or make the most of the opportunity with the articulation and the higher ed program. Thanks.
Great, Andrew. That's great. Thank you. Yes, and I think that there would be many other examples of pathways for students into undergrad programs across all of these qualifications. Encourage you all to have a look at the advice and the information that's available on the RMIT website for specifics. We might have opportunity for one more question here, which is, I'll just read this out. So a mature age student here, experienced with some audio, podcasting, live shows, keen to venture more into the world of sound production and design, but also interested in screen. Where would you recommend to start, and which pathways would you suggest exploring? I'm not sure if anyone wants to take that question on, but
yeah, I could answer to that a little bit, because there's a couple of different options. It could be either a screen-based pursuit or sound production. I think you've got to look at research the programs and see which one is going to float your boat. I think either of those would be good options. You've talked, Ron and Andrew have talked a bit about what the screen programs are doing and where the options are there. And as I'd mentioned, with sound production and even with live production, we also basically train a lot of production skills and get a lot of people ending up working in areas of broadcast. Big success story with a lot of the post-production houses and television networks being graduates of these programs. So I guess it's really which is your focus area. If you wanted to get involved in sound production for podcasts and any other sort of media, then sound production would probably be the way to go, because that's the focus of the program, and as I said, that's where a lot of people end up. I just saw a question pop about RPLs. Depending on what work you're doing, you may also be eligible for RPLs for particular units, as in subjects within a program, different parts of the program, maybe even a complete program, depending on your experience. But to focus on that initial question, I think it's really looking at research the courses as much as possible. Contact us, email Andrew, myself, Ron, any of us. We're happy to answer any questions to help you get an idea of what your focus area might be, and help there. I don't know, Andrew or Ron, if you want to say anything about that.
Yeah, thanks, John. I'll pick that one up. Yeah, just to reiterate a lot of what John was saying, when you're talking about multidisciplines, it's very much about doing your own research and finding out what area of interest you particularly want to get into first, because once you start studying, what you often uncover is a hidden talent or a hidden desire, or you start to push yourself in a direction that you may not have considered first. So I think at this point, just have do some research on what you're really interested in, and then start to move yourself in that direction. With RPL and credit transfers, a lot of it is about life experience. You'd be surprised what can be included in an RPL based on what you've done previously. Depending on particularly with what work you've done previously. Credit transfers is more about what you've studied academically before. But as John was saying, like, you can actually practically RPL or credit transfer a program depending on what your previous experience is. So pop an application in would be my advice. Thanks.
Thanks, Andrew. And look, on that note, we might need to wind it up. And thanks so much again for all your contributions. And all the questions that you've had. You can continue to put questions in. There'll be responses in the chat. So in finishing up, thanks so much. Thanks for listening, and we hope to see you sometime soon at RMIT University to engage with one of our programs. Thank you.